Okay.
Marami na para sa experience namin, no? Kasi dapat talaga ano yan eh.
Ako po, I would suggest, maybe you can let the student council handle it, you can let the alumni handle it, pero maganda rin to promote, make it a source of school pride. Hindi ako magbayad. Nakapasok ako sa UP, nakapasok ako sa magagandang SUCs po natin. Kung may kaya, bakit hindi magbayad?
We do that.
Diba? I know, ang hirap po kasi yan sa accounting eh. Alam ko yun ang iniisip po ng marami dito. Ano yan? Income ba yan? But I just suggest, no, because the law has affected all of us. That's a provision in the law that was created specifically to allow for the students na nakakapasok na may kaya to be able to pay. And maybe, even though we know it's a small amount, in terms of social justice, baka maganda rin po na i-promote natin to. Dr. Ronquillo.
Mr. Chair, thank you, Senator. During our orientation or pre-higher education, we started sharing this because there are different modalities and opt-out is one. Well, it's really a good option, but you know, it's not that easy to operationalize on the ground, Mr. Chair. Why? Para din po yung PCR at yung libreng CR. Ang PCR, you need to accord them a good service and they are demanding. Maya-maya sila yung marireklamo because they are saying, nagbabayad kami, hindi kami katulad ninyo. So, though it's a sound option, it's not that easy to operationalize. You have to accord them really. Kumbaga, ngayon nga yung mga bata, mareklamo na, hindi pa nagbabayad, walang binabayad. And they are very mareklamo. So much more if they are opting out, if they will pay, they should be accorded a Class A service possibly. They will demand that, Mr.
Dr. Ronquillo, I think everybody deserves a Class A service, di ba? Pangalawa, nasa batas po yan eh.
Yes po.
You don't have a choice, no? Nasa batas po yan. So, oversight po natin, lahat naman tayo mareklamo, whether nagbabayad o hindi. Pero that shouldn't deter us from following the law. The program was created to allow for this. We should. Now, alam ko po, accounting palang mahirap na eh. Diba? But I'm sure Ched can guide us. Income ba ito? How do you treat this? Diba? Kung may mag-opt out, we can figure it out. And I'm sure this can be part of the reforms that Chairperson Shirley can work on. Okay. Bilang panghuli, ang rami pong areas na kailangan punuan ang budget po ninyo. So, napag-usapan natin yung deficiency. Yung test, binring up ko po, and we will tackle this further when the CHED budget is brought up. Bakit pababa yung test? That's another huge amount of money na gusto nating malaman bakit pababa yan. Yung inyong MOE, capital outlay, and PS, which directly relates to your capacity to provide quality education. Alam ko po, malaki yung wish list. We will also do our best to fill that up. So, test, deficiency, MOE, capital outlay, and personal services, meron ba akong na-miss out na budget item na dapat ma-bring up today? O yun yung tatlong bucket, yung ano rin pala, yung FHE, no? Of course, yung matching nung pagko-compute ng enrollees tsaka yung FHE natin. So, 4 na yun, no? So, the deficiency, yung utang, yung FHE, yung PES, and of course, yung regular operations natin, no, our MOE, PS, and CO. Meron pa bang hindi na pag-uusapang budgetary items? Sige po, Dr. Ronquillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In fact, a while ago, we are discussing a lot about deficiency. And over the last 4 years, we accumulated a lot. That deter us from enrolling more our students. That deter us from implementing fully well the universal access for quality education because we don't have space. I think in our discussion yesterday, initially with Senator Loren and Senator Gatchalian, we agreed that our first wish, hindi pa po nasama sa bucket list ni Senator Bam, yung capital outlay request. Ang dami naming mga capital outlay requests, but our agreement was, i-concentrate na lang sa academic building. So that we can accommodate, I think, expand our absorptive capacity. And ibibigay po namin yung aming listahan ng academic building requirements as part of our priority. Yung iba, hindi na lang muna.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ronquillo. But babalik ko lang yan sa capacity. Kasi kahit may building kayo, wala ka naman teacher. Diba? So, we have to really be strict about the capacity of the school. Ilan talaga yung kaya. We don't want you to enroll more students na hindi naman kayang bigyan ng quality education. At the same time, kung pinapressure namin kayo to enroll more, kasi ganyan yung tono rin namin, dapat may karampatang rin yung budget. Diba? And Chairperson Shirley will agree with this, dapat yung course offerings ay nagmamatch dun sa national goals natin. No? So, ang rami pong reformang kailangan gawin, no? And yun yung challenge. We have reforms that we want to do, but habang hinahanap natin yan, ang rami rin nating hinahabol ng mga kailangan gawin. But rest assured, I think this is the Senate where there are so many education champions. Napakarami pong nakabantay sa edukasyon sa Senadong ito. No? Of course, our chairperson here was the former chairman of Basic Ed. Senator Loren has been working on education for 2 decades na po ba? Or 3 decades na ba? 2.5 decades already. Senator Pangilinan, of course. And marami pa po sa Senado. Marami yung nakabantay dito. And the first time na bring up natin na yung flood control, ilipat na lang sa edukasyon, wala pong tumutol. Wala pong tumutol po dito. So we will do our best to make sure it's funded. We will do our best. But, tulungan niyo rin po kami. We need the right data to make the right decisions. Magkano ba talaga ginagastos per student? Ano ba talaga yung capacity natin? Yung scholarships na napupunta rin sa mga private school, sa mga mahihirap na estudyante sa private school, kailangan rin nating pondohan yan. No? And we hope that we can take the opportunity that we have now to fund higher ed and basic ed in a better way. No? Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Sundan ko lang, Press Dear, so but I'll propound this later on. Kailangan talaga ng carrying capacity study, from CHED and from PASOK. We really need to have this number. In DepEd, they have it. But for higher ed, wala talaga. So it's very hard for us to plan whether how much we will put in terms of academic facilities, in terms of capital outlay. So gawin ninyo, no, na isang priority study ito. Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, we are really one with you in determining accurately, meaningfully, the absorptive capacity. But I just would like to give a note that our definition of absorptive capacity, is it really focusing on the physical seats, or we also include the digital seats? As the modality of learning now is not only counting on the number of seats, the number of classroom, or what about we give electronically? I think that should be factored in computing the absorptive capacity, because our institutions now already have investments on their online learning, on their digital facility infrastructure. I think that should be included, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, we will leave the definition and the policy direction to CHED, no? Kasi sila talagang magsiset ng policy direction. But for purposes of budgeting, no, we will need that carrying capacity study so that we will be guided accordingly moving forward. Right? You want to respond?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairperson. Yes, in fact, we already have the formula for the absorptive capacity, and anytime from now, we are ready to consult with PASOK already.
Thank you for that. Next will be Senator Loren. She's the next person to ask questions.
Thank you very much. First, we're grateful to the chair for heeding the clamor of the PASOK, representing all the 113 state universities and colleges, to give a definitive answer to the long-standing issue of the deficiency in the funds being given in compliance with an old law of 2017 or 18, and the authors are all here in this room. Second, we're also grateful to the chair for committing to provide the way forward in 2026 and beyond, so that even after our time here, the wrong computation on the enrollees will not happen again. Now, looking at the 2026 GAA, it is therefore almost certain, I say it's certain, that the SUCs will receive the long pending resources, funds needed to make up for the previous year's losses. we know that you utilize your internally generated income. Humanap kayo ng paraan para makakuha ng pondo to accept as many students as possible. I'd like to know now what suffered and how will you utilize the funds that will be granted to each SUC equitably, not equally, because the enrollees, of course, changed and the utilization of income changed. I'd like to know what were these internally generated income. Let's say you had to forgo. Of course, we know finorgo nyo ang additional students, but finorgo din nyo yung pagtayo ng bagong laboratory for science SUCs. You did not improve or build dormitories. You did not rehabilitate your academic buildings. You did not make your campuses smart campuses. Nagtipid kayo na divert because nag-abono po kayo. Now, it will be brought back to you and given back to you, hopefully, and it will. May we know, how will you spend this much-needed resources? Maybe hear from PASUC speaking for all the 113 state universities and colleges. And do the SUCs have the absorptive capacity to do that, both for infrastructure, because it's not going to be all for infra. I would like to think it would also refer to faculty training and development. Finorgo ninyo ang pag-improve ng kaalaman ng ating mga guro. Oo, ang ating mga trainers. So we'd like to know, how will you spend it? What suffered? How will you spend the funds within the 2-year time frame of the utilization of the budget? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and of course, thank you, Senator Lauren. Every year, our SUCs prepare their budget, what we call Program of Receipts and Expenditure, and will be approved by the board. That PRE is based on our internally generated income that spans from students' development, faculty training and development, even research and development, capital outlay development, smart campuses. Meaning to say, the question on how shall we spend this coming money? I think we have to get back to our individual PRE per year. What was foregone, and we will be implementing those, I think, accordingly. Or we will be sitting down again with our board and determine what is our priority now. Because we have foregone many of those programs and projects. Maybe after 5 years, after 4 years, we have now new priorities, which I think up for our consultation with our stakeholders even. What is our priority now internally? And it will be deliberated in our board. But basic is what was foregone. But maybe after 4 years, those programs may have changed already. Those programs may not be needed anymore. So we have to sit and we have to determine, I think, competently, comprehensively, in consultation with the stakeholders who were affected by those cuts, Mr. Chair. Moving forward. Thank you, po.
May we just be enlightened, let's say for teacher training, for faculty development, what programs were scrapped, totally scrapped, that deprive their teachers of these programs? Just an example.
Okay. Mr. Chair, to respond, we have generally two types of training for faculty, short-term, medium, and long-term, medium-term to long-term. Short-term attendance may be to some trainings, short courses. Long-terms could be studying in master's or PhD. Maybe some of our issues, but we will be looking at the data, how many of those teachers who should have started their masters out of the funds from this deficiency is supposed to be. So those will be sorted out one by one, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair. So ganun po, baka yung iba hindi natuloy ng pagpasok ng masters or PhD because hindi dumating yung pera. So they have to be now, I think, considered when money comes around. Thank you po.
I'd like to give this information to all the state university presidents and the PASUC officers. Our Department of Foreign Affairs, as you know, has embassies and consulates globally, worldwide, and they have access to information for teacher development, even for students, for scholarships. I recall some time back, there was an ambassador came to me, was it Hungary, and they really wanted students, college students, and they had difficulty in rolling out their programs. So there are so much resources out there, maybe the information is not conveyed to the state universities and colleges. I just